Well, hello everybody, and the last few weeks have been a bit of a wait for the big event, and I've also been ill for the last couple of weeks, but I am on the mend now after a scare where I thought myself and my partner Sonia had COVID. Turned out to be the mother of all head colds and really heavy flu with a lot of the same symptoms, particularly the feeling that your throat and sinuses are full of razor blades. And I'm still not ruling out that we got a mild dose, but we tested negative, and I am feeling a lot better, just that my throat is ripped out from constant coughing for a week. Not fun. So if you can all excuse me sounding like Lord Croak, let's catch up. If you logged into Elite on Tuesday after updating it, you would have seen a video playing which shows what happened when Salvation fired his superweapon. It's online all over the place, but if you haven't played much lately, and I know there are people following me who haven't played for a while, then I've put it in here for you to watch without waiting to update the game and log in. Before playing the video, I want to spend a few minutes to do a quick update, which will briefly go into the articles and build up to the events in the video. But if you want to skip that and go straight there, this YouTube video is chaptered, so just hop to the next chapter to see what happened. If you're still here, thank you for bearing with me. Once it became apparent that the super weapon wasn't going to get fired until the update this month, it was difficult to see anything that happened till then as more than just gap filling, especially with community goals like the AX combat and delivering Guardian artifacts going into their third or fourth weeks while the conflicts in HIP 22460 continued. The story was well supported though, with tweets from FDev like this one showing a countdown chart, and this one, be part of history, and several Galnet articles. The articles are pretty varied and they're written from a variety of perspectives, so good effort there. We've got Tesro still denouncing Salvation and the superpowers continuing to double down in their support for him. Operation Witch Hunt gets shoehorned into the lore again and blamed for the slow progress. And Azimuth asks for supplies to use after the weapon is fired to help them collect samples for analysis. Meanwhile, Operation Witch Hunt achieved their last goal for the time being and kicked Azimuth out of Maya 2 days before the update, so congratulations to Psykit, Celine Stardragon and Katie Anna for succeeding in their plan to evict Azimuth from every system where they weren't either native or the only faction. This article is hilarious and an obvious troll by FDev against Operation Witch Hunt, calling them alien lovers. We know FDev are in the Witch Hunt Discord and they're fully aware that groups like AXI are a part of it, plus many neutral parties. And it's not a love of Thargoids that makes them work together, but their shared objection to Salvation's methods. So a bit of banter like this in a Galnet article is pretty funny, and I hope we see more of it, with FDev responding directly to player-led initiatives. It's a good sign that they're taking more notice of us. In the last 4 days leading up to Tuesday and update 13, those in HIP 22460 received periodic messages as system-wide updates were sent out by Azimuth. A couple of them made people wonder if they were early signs of something going wrong, with the odd message saying that something needed recalibrating or power fluctuations were detected, but it turned out to be red herrings as far as we know, and the last message was shortly before the servers went down for the update, saying that the weapon was finally ready to use. I'll put a link in the video description to a site with pictures of all the messages, except the first two because they didn't screen grab them. There were 24 messages in all. And then there was nothing to do except wait for the downtime, install the update, and log in. This is what happened next.
To all humankind, this is salvation. Future generations will remember our triumph today. The Thargoid threat, consigned to the past.
With my guidance, Azimuth has constructed
The means to destroy our enemy. My final gift. Born from a century of sacrifice. The Proteus Wave. Our victory is delivered in this moment. Humanity's next great chapter begins now.
Proteus Wave is online, Commodore Halloran. Surface site readings are stable.
Initiate countdown sequence.
20, 19, 18.
Multiple Thargoid interceptors approaching.
Just a few more seconds.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Proteus Wave has been successfully deployed.
Analyzing Thargoid vessels. No life signs.
And the rest of the Thargoid fleet?
Similar reports from across the system. They're shutting down.
We finally did it.
Wait. I'm picking up an energy surge near... No, from the Proteus Wave site. Thargoid markers, but amplified past anything I
Shut
see.
the weapon down! Now!
I want to stop it.
Warning. Thrusters offline.
What just happened? Report!
The Thargoids! They're alive!
Controls are not responsive. All systems offline.
Engineering! We need power! Now! All crew!
Brace for impact.
How long the video will play for in game, I don't know, but it's also on Frontier's YouTube channel, all over YouTube generally, and of course I won't be taking my videos down, so you can see it here whenever you want. The attack has changed a few things in HIP 22460. Your entire interface will be glitchy for as long as you remain in the system. Both of the Azimuth megaships, the Bright Sentinel and Heart of Taurus, are trashed. All of the Federation, Empire and Alliance capital ships are trashed as well, and they've been reduced to points of interest. There are a large number of debris fields containing mostly human and some Thargoid wreckage. If you have any Guardian modules, they will degrade by 1% per second until they're rendered inoperable. Switching them off makes no difference. This includes weapons, Guardian power plants and distributors, module reinforcements, frame shift drive boosters and ship launch fighters. They all work as normal elsewhere, so your Guardian weapons will be fine in non-human signal sources in the Pleiades, Witchhead, Coalsack, anywhere outside HIP 22460, at least for the moment. And if you have the old human AX weapons that don't use Guardian technology like the multi-cannons and the missiles, they still work the way they did before. The site where the Proteus Wave was set up can now be seen from space as a swirling mass of green clouds. You can also hear Thargoid noises. Drop into normal flight to admire it though, and it won't be long before you have company. Thargoids will drop in and attack you now whenever you are in normal flight, anywhere in the system. Even if you're on foot, you might get attacked by Thargoid ships as well, and you'll certainly see them flying over the ground sites. They're also more aggressive in HIP 22460. They will pursue you harder, they'll throw their swarms at you more often. You're only safe in Supercruise. Perhaps they'll get the ability to pull us out of Supercruise at some point, which is a scary thought. There are logs on the Heart of Taurus, the Bright Sentinel, and the Oath of Tindarius, including 2 recorded, voice-acted logs from Morag Halloran and Salvation, which I'm going to save till the end. This is a private comms from the Heart of Taurus. Nyla Hurst. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but Halloran has to know, right? About Azimuth. About Azimuth. And those things it's accused of, like sabotaging the Alexandria. That's never been proven. Sure, but I heard those logs. It mentions a witch, and if they're right and Salvation is... Who's they? Have you been listening to Aegis propaganda? I'm not saying that Aegis is right, but there's just questions is all. Just let it go, Nyla. This isn't the time. I guess. I just hope we're doing the right thing. This one from Peter, Kansas. It didn't work. I don't know how I'm still here. My room's life support is intact, but the ship is finished. The Thargoids tore us to pieces when they... Damn it. I remember hugging Jefferson when the call came through. We stopped them. The captain said so. Salvation did it. And then the power went out and I ran. I knew something bad was going to happen. Jefferson called after me, but I kept running. Back to my room. Just made it when the explosion started. I'm not... They're picking people up. The bodies. I can see them through the window. I can't let them take me. Won't let them. I refuse. From the Bright Sentinel. Gerald Mulcahy. Hey, it's been a while, but I wanted to send you a quick message. Shame you're not home. I know I haven't been in touch. We've just been busy. Well, if you've been watching the news feeds, you know what's going on. I've been in HIP 22460 for a few weeks now, and there hasn't been much downtime. I guess you heard that excuse before, though, huh? Listen, I just wanted to say sorry. When this is over, assuming Salvation's plan works, I'll take some time off and come visit, if that's okay with you. Yeah. I hope you're doing good. Say a prayer for us if you get a chance. The personal log of Sunday Omeji. Interesting name. Having reviewed the reports of the Proteus site's power systems, I am delighted to see that all results are within optimal parameters. Quite the feat, given that this is a unique weapon, never before seen by humanity, which incorporates mechanisms from 2 alien races. The Guardian technology is remarkable, so versatile in application. I believe we have merely scratched the surface of its capability, but further developments will come in time, when the Thargoids have been eradicated. I had the chance to speak with Salvation, only briefly, and only to clarify a specific aspect of the Proteus wave's function. There's a magnetism to the man's demeanour. He is ancient, of course, and wears his years wholly. But Salvation gave me his full attention for perhaps 30 seconds, and I admit to feeling intimidated by his focus. Then, my question answered, he moved on. Not a moment wasted on pleasantries. Understandable. There is far too much to do, of course. Raj Naresh, or Naresh Raj. An engineering log from the Oath of Tindarius. I can't get the power back on. No, you're not listening. It's dead. There's nothing to work with. The panels are blank. The drive's disengaged. Manual override isn't doing anything. Unless you want to try rubbing sticks together to ignite a spark, we're stranded here. At least we took the Thargoids out first, otherwise we'd be in big trouble. I need some time to break down where the problem stems from. There's a panel under the main coupling unit that... Transmission lost. A personal log from the Oath of Tindarius as well. Stephanie Boney. We've been told for so many months now that Salvation is the answer. The war will end through his actions, not ours. like he's some messiah. Have people lost faith in the military? The ADF has fought these creatures for years now. Sure, there have been setbacks, but there have been plenty of victories as well. I was there when the Alliance secured the Witchhead Nebula Enclave. We drove the Thargoids back and gave them a few wounds to lick. Gave the Imps and Feds something to think about too. Now we've all bet our chips on Salvation's cards. Here in HIP 22460, we've lost thousands of good people keeping his back covered while he builds this wondering contraption. I truly hope it works, because a lot has been sacrificed to give the Proteus wave a chance. Getting the logs is a pain, with Thargoids dropping in and attacking you, and because fighting them is compromised by Guardian weapons not working, your best bet for picking up the messages is to use a small, fast ship with long-range sensors so that you can quickly find them. If a Thargoid appears while you're trying to read an uplink or something, you can also try going into Supercruise and back to buy yourself more time to scan them all. And there are also logs to be found in some of the debris fields. I've put a list of them in the video description if you want to get them for yourself. You need to find the special small black boxes and scan them with your data scanner to get the logs. The logs from the debris then. Emma Fairchild. I don't have much time. I guess if you're sweeping the debris, you'll hear people say that a lot. I'd apologise, but I have my own problems right now. Fleet Command need to be brought to justice. All of them. All three superpowers. They sold us out to Salvation. Have you been hearing his announcements? How he's going to save humanity and write history? This was all for his ego and his stupid fixation on defeating the Thargoids, and our admirals bought it. Sure, we'll deploy hundreds of thousands of people to back you up, no sweat. What could go wrong? Everything went wrong, you idiots! Whatever it was that took out my power hit us all. The Thargoids sure woke up, though. I've mostly been watching them blow ships apart. Mostly. Some escape pods had already been deployed by the time everything went bad. I swear the Thargoids are scooping them up. Can you imagine? I hope whatever happens to the people inside is quick. Nobody deserves to be experimented on or ground into burgers or whatever. I don't think I'll be around to see justice served, so good luck. Tell them Emma Fairchild said they're all scumbags. Stan Grayling. Just hold them a little longer. It's almost time. Sounds of ship conflict detected. Damn it, my shields are down, Chandler. Draw 'em off me, buddy. Don't let me miss the fireworks, you hear? Large energy pulse detected. I can't believe it. The crazy son of a gun actually did it. Captain, this is Squadron 6 reporting in. The Thargoids have shut down. Repeat, the Thargoids have... Transmission lost. Robert Chavez. I've never seen anything so beautiful in all my life. Look at them all. They're finished. 3 years of hell. Radio chatter. Roger that. Move into formation. Hey, tell Sandra I'll be home soon. We're due a holiday. Unknown energy surge detected. What the... This is Chavez, Squadron 6. I've lost power. Can anyone hear me? Controls are unresponsive. I can... Transmission lost. Kelsey Morse. Are you seeing this? They're just drifting. I'm sitting less than a kilometre from an interceptor and it's like someone's pulled the plug on it. Are they dead? Asleep? Ugh. This gives me the creeps. I'm heading back to base. Lloyd Painter. If anyone finds this... I don't even know if the suit recorder's working. I'm stuck in my cockpit. Ship's powerless. I'm watching the Thargoids destroy every ship in the area. They're so... methodical. Like our massacre is a chore to them. The fighting continued right up until the first wave went off. The Thargoids went offline. All the lights on their hulls out. The conflict was over. We had maybe a minute to celebrate before another wave hit us. Salvation failed. Why did we ever believe he could stop them? Nothing can stop them. Not now. I don't know what it was, but... Oh, God. Oh, God. Feng Ti-Ching. That damned liar. I knew Salvation couldn't be trusted. All those promises about winning the war. Well, look at me now, you jerk. My controls are deader than dead. What am I meant to do? Flip 'em the bird? Sounds of Thargoid vessel detected. Oh, you finally noticed me, huh? Come on then, you ugly bastard. Show me what you got. And Wilbur, Santa Coloma. My ship is in pieces, sir. I need to head back for repairs. You gonna make it before the wave goes off? Reckon so. Need to get out of here before any more flowers take notice, so... Okay, get going. See if you can drum up any reinforcements on the flight deck. I'll see what I can do. Oh, crap. Got a Medusa coming in fast. Looks pissed. Start your jump. I'll draw it away. I owe you one. Find me at the victory party. After the weapon fired, some players decided to try taking Guardian relics into Thargoid sites, where they have the star maps. And usually if you take any Guardian items into a Thargoid site, the site goes crazy and everything attacks you. But this time, the site took 3 relics and turned them green. And the scavengers either didn't attack at all or briefly attacked and then stopped. Other Guardian items still have the same effect they did before, only the relics get changed. So these have now become known as Grelics, and players have been experimenting with them. Now for a Thargoid site to take a Guardian object and change its very nature, as opposed to reacting violently to its presence, is a huge shift in the narrative, and something that you would expect to have wide-reaching consequences. Once converted, Grelics can no longer be used to get blueprints at Guardian sites, and players got messages from Professor Palin and Ramtar offering to buy the Grelics for study. They also want them so badly that selling them a converted relic counts for unlocking them as engineers. Another interesting point is that Ramtar recognises the Grelic as a Guardian artifact, while Palin says that he detects Thargoid radiation coming from it. What does it mean? One of the more out there theories, or is it? Is it the Thargoids and Guardians are actually the same species and the history we think we know is faked? An idea from the earlier games and used again by Drew in his books is the one about 2 factions of Thargoids where one faction drove the other one out. What if the Guardians are actually a faction of Thargoids that throughout the ones we're encountering now, they gave themselves different names to disassociate themselves from each other and even developed their technology in deliberately different ways to oppose each other? No, I'm not saying I take that seriously, it's just a bit of fun, but maybe not so crazy after all. Either way, I think Grelics are going to play a big part in the story to come. There is some speculation that Salvation may have survived. This is based on part of the video where you can see the name Nemesis on the tablet next to his chair, which has led people to wonder if he wasn't on the Bright Sentinel at all, as the video wanted us to believe. And they also point out that he's looking out the window directly at the site, but the Bright Sentinel is sideways on, so he must be somewhere else. The second part assumes that the megaships have their command decks in the nose, as fleet carriers do, which is logical enough, but as we don't have any megaships with command decks we can visit, it's an assumption until it's confirmed in-game like everything else. It's obvious they just used a command deck from a fleet carrier for the video, so maybe they just forgot to change the carrier name to the Bright Sentinel, and there's no conspiracy at all. Again, at this point, I'm not saying anything is true or false, I'm simply identifying different possibilities that people have come up with, and the reasoning behind them, such as it is, and I'll personally wait to see what happens in the actual game, as I always do. But it's an interesting idea, and we'll see if anything comes of it. If Salvation escaped, perhaps D2 will find him and have a final revenge, who knows. There have been a lot of other questions about the events in the video, which to some, depending on how they're viewing it, make no sense, but for me, I think it's quite logical what happened if you don't take anything out of context and think big picture. We'd already seen evidence that the weapon was less and less effective against the Thargoids each time it was used. After destroying several ships in Cornsar, it destroyed fewer and fewer ships with each successive use, until finally it destroyed none at all, but appeared to simply drive them away into hyperspace. I think they developed a counter to it, or adapted somehow, and they've been immune for a while now, just playing along. I don't think the super weapon knocked them out. I think they let it fire, deliberately played possum, and then simply instructed their site to take over and fire back. Some people have suspected sabotage, but there's no evidence for any at this time. Not saying sabotage couldn't have played a part, maybe we'll find out D2 or someone else had something to do with it, but my take on it is a simpler one, which doesn't need to have sabotage involved. It seems to me the Thargoids lulled Salvation into a false sense of security, let him think they were running scared, and then when Salvation tried to use one of their own bases to amplify his signal, they set him up. Salvation thought he was smarter than the Thargoids, and they played him. Quite elegantly too. So finally we come to the two voice-acted messages. The first from Commodore Morag Halloran.
This is Commodore Halloran. I've just received word that the Proteus wave weapon has been successfully installed at the Thargoid surface site. Soon we will initiate the weapon's activation sequence. It will take some time, so we need to be wary of any attempt by the Thargoid fleet to interfere with Salvation's plan. I've confirmed with Galnet officials that every major newsfeed will carry live footage of the superweapon's activation. We'll share the coming victory with the people we fight for. Every loved one of the millions lost to the Thargoids will witness our revenge in real time. You all know your duties. We've drilled them a dozen times over. Don't let the waiting audience distract you. Make me proud, okay? Halloran out.
As those of you who have followed me know, I have my criticisms of the story with the pace and with so many ideas and choices, but this is a step up for two reasons. Firstly, it looks like FDev are paying more attention to players, and secondly because, unlike other events which have happened weeks apart with not a lot going on in the meantime, this event has some real consequences and things to examine and think about, like the special situation in HIP 22460 and the Grelics. A couple of Galnet articles are the only other things we have to give us a clue about where things may go next. Immediately after the event there was a media blackout, with journalists being banned from the system and also from talking to any survivors, the in-game version of the general public being kept in the dark while the superpowers and Azimuth decide what they're going to say. And then a public statement coming out today saying that the fleets have withdrawn. They're trying to rescue what they can, but the system has been conceded to the Thargoids, and now the in-game general public fear an invasion of the bubble, and Professor Tesro sticks a boot in again, saying this is what happens when you make false assumptions and don't share your research. This is all promising stuff, so I hope they can continue to deliver. But let's give the last word to the man himself, Salvation. Recorded 2 weeks ago on August the 27th.
The time of our victory is almost here. My journey has been long. Too long, I think. I am likely to be the oldest ever living human. The fortune I have spent on cell regeneration and bionic replacements to keep my physical form intact. It would make even a serious accountant weep. Every single credit was worthwhile, though. The investments have allowed me to witness this moment, to be our salvation. The Thargoids are an ancient race, too blind to realize that time has passed. Over the centuries, I have admittedly found a grudging respect for them. The creatures are equally intelligent and ruthless, but they lack the ambition, an endless potential of humans. I've given my life to ensuring the crown has finally snatched away from them. We are now the dominant civilization in the galaxy. My name will be remembered alongside the very greatest champions of humanity. I believe I have earned that much.
That's also the only message, and in fact the only message in this entire saga, where an extra sentence has been added which is not in the text of the message itself. Well, he's mellowed a bit, considering he used to think the Thargoids were lesser creatures and little more than animals, and at least towards the end accepted they were more intelligent than that, although grudgingly, and still finding a way to justify humans over them because prejudice isn't something you change quickly, especially when it gives you a comforting delusion of superiority. And even with this slight change of attitude, his arrogance and the belief that he knew better was still his downfall. He thought humans were superior to Thargoids in every way, and he was wrong. And he thought he knew more about how to control Thargoid sites than they did, and was quite spectacularly wrong. He will be remembered, just not in the way he hoped. Thanks for watching.